start with just a little practice, just for a few moments of stillness. I've got a brain. I can see what it's thinking. Oh, I'm thinking this now. I'm thinking that. Oh. I've got emotions. I can see what I'm feeling. Oh, I feel crap today. Oh, I feel really good today. I got a body. I can process its senses. I can feel its urges. Hey, you didn't eat breakfast. I can see that. Who am I? What is the part of me that can see my brain, my emotions, and my body? And in mindfulness, that's called awareness. All of us have, every living human has it. But most of us have not been aware of our awareness or using it for most of our life. And so now we're just going to take just a moment and muse. I mean, don't think about it, because now we're going to the brain. What is it in me that I can see what I'm thinking, feeling, what my body needs, wants, is doing? Okay. So, the thing is, when we go looking for that, it's often hard to find it because we're looking. But you'll find moments just when you're walking around in the woods, drinking your coffee, where you're suddenly just aware that you're like seeing yourself. And for some people, that's even scary. I had a lady once jump up and yelp and run out of meditation because it scared her when she had a big blast of awareness. And fortunately, she recovered and continued to be a friend in the group. But I'm just saying, awareness is a lot bigger part of us than we may have ever realized. And it's a very powerful, active part of us. So I'll do my quickie introduction. So we have this aspect, I call it, of awareness. And we have the other aspect of our basically body identity, our brain, emotions, and physicality. The awareness part is what the Zen guys and the Buddhists and all of them talk about. It's always at peace. No matter what's going on, it's like, all right, this is going to get crazy. Let's see how this goes. That's in there all the time. It tends to see with curiosity. Who are you? What's going on for you? What's happening? Wow, I wonder how they made that drum. I mean, it's a lightweight curiosity, not an intellectual examination. It's a state of curiosity. What is all this? It's amazing. It tends to see in beauty. People, things, situations, like, wow, just look at the shining light there. Look at that beautiful flower, or whatever. And then it has a nature which the Buddhists call compassion. And this nature is going to be our key to help locate our awareness and return to it when we want to get peaceful. Its nature is, I wish you well. I'm not wanting any particular outcome for you, perhaps, but my feeling is, I wish you well. Whether it's a flower or a person or feral cats or whatever, it's a different way of looking at the world. The other physical aspect of us has a very different outlook on life. It is built to survive. So it is constantly scanning for potential dangers, be they real or imagined. It's always on the lookout. What did you say? What do you mean by that? I heard him say something. You know, I mean, it's the little things in the end that give us the clues where we can use awakening awareness to heal our mind. So the physical aspect sees the beauty and then immediately wants to possess it. I want to make you mine. I will pick the flower. I'm going to enslave you into a marriage contract. It has all kinds of getting and possessing devices, as opposed to the awareness which just says, oh, I see you there. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. Oh, awesome for you. I wish you well. The practice is very simple. Once I've touched my awareness and say, oh yeah, there it is. I know what that is. It lasted 0.3 of a second. Like, wow, I'm getting really good at this. Once we've touched it and felt a little bit of its peace, then we can begin a practice. If we haven't touched it, we can do the practice anyway and say, wow, I'd like to know that peace. So we'll start there. So first step, I would rather be at peace. I would like to get to an actual state of peace in me. That's far, far more important than we realize as we begin this journey. Because we'll find as we attempt to apply this practice, no, I don't want to be at peace. I want to be pissed off. I want to be angry. I want to be afraid. My fear protects me. So I want to be at peace. Okay. Now remember, I could be at peace. So now the second step is to take that remembering I could be at peace and begin choosing deeper. Yes, I want to be at peace. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Like a common example I give, I had one thread in my old programming. It took me 2.5 months before I could get through step 2 with that issue. Because every time it would come up, I was feeling hurt and angry again. So it's a process. That's why Lao Tzu called it the way, a way of living, not a magic wand. So step 2 is me working on making my decision. I want to get to my place of peace and experience and express from there. Step 3 is when I finally say, yes, I want to get to my peace. I mean, it's very distinct. You'll recognize it when it comes. It's like, all right, enough of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to get to my peace. Okay, that feels like it settles in. And then there's a 4th step, and that is to deliberately open my mind to my awareness. It's hard to describe, but I'm willing to let something in me, more than my brain and emotions and body, help me out and rearrange my brain, emotions, and bodies. That is the power of awareness. And it often gets rolled into a lot of called spiritual practices, but the basic process is a thing of its own, and I always emphasize this, because if we can identify this one basic practice, I'm not trying to get to a belief that makes me feel better or makes me feel safe. I want to get to that state where I do feel okay enough anyway. So the whole thing with awakening in mindfulness is to develop my awareness of my awareness and to develop personal practices to get back to it. And then when I'm in it or partially in it, to stabilize it. And maybe it lasts a little longer today. Maybe I could apply it to something new today. And it's an ongoing journey. It's a way of living for the rest of our life. At 70, I'm still discovering old crap in my mind that can float up. It's like, ooh, that's still there. Wow, time to go to work. So that's the quickie introduction to the core of mindfulness. So we begin learning how to apply that. And today I want to talk a moment on self-forgiveness. But to talk about that, I also have to talk a little bit about beliefs. And beliefs are not what we think they are necessarily. We all have a very strong belief in gravity. And we know if we drop that bowling ball on our toe, what's going to happen? It's going to hurt. A belief structurally in us is something we have created to make us safe in the world. It's part of our reality model that we create so we can navigate the world more successfully. There are some beliefs, like our religious beliefs, that we purposefully adopt. But the ones I'm going to try to point to right now are ones that we've been indoctrinated with, and we don't even realize we have these beliefs in us. So, anytime I feel, oh, there's something wrong with me, I shouldn't be this way, I'm beginning to see a belief. The trick is, when that kind of a feeling comes up, to just see if we can get to our awareness and say, all right, what am I feeling here? It's horrible. It's ugly. Sometimes it's a bad feeling due to a judgment that has been put on me. You shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't be like that. You should be more like this. Or sometimes it's a recalling a memory of, yeah, that was not a very nice thing I did. In fact, that was really bad. And that horrible feeling of bad comes up. We examine everything with awareness. It's never like, oh, I shouldn't feel bad, I'm going to dismiss that or go to a happy place. It's why. What's that doing in me? So, if we can adopt the view that everything in us, in what's been called the ego in other teachings, the ego is this nasty enemy we have to battle all the time. I don't use it that way, but many of us have that teaching. Everything, even in the ego, got there because it thought it would protect us and do something for us. It's not our enemy. We thought as a child, if we accepted our parents' and society's conditioning, it would be better for us. So we accepted the conditioning at that time. Now the mind does not evaluate. It just decides. It accepts, okay, that's how it is. That's a belief now. There's something wrong with me. Well, they said there was. Oh, I'm 4 years old. And I put that in and try not to exhibit that side of me around them because there's something wrong with it. And I've never looked at that belief since. It's been sitting there for 68 years or however long. Well, the thing with awareness is when we can just look at it and say, oh, yeah, that's a horrible feeling. That's ugly. Yeah, let me just look. And then want to bring that to peace. When I said we ask for help is the fourth step, awareness in us is bigger than the other stuff combined. It can begin retranslate or reprogramming old mental programming, like those beliefs. It can begin reprogramming emotional patterns like trauma or defensiveness that we've built. And it can begin transforming the body, releasing a lot of us have tremendous patterns of tension, storage of tension. I got to stay always a little bit tense, or I got to stay keyed up, so I'm always on. Anyway, we will begin to see all those types of patterns, whether they're in the brain, emotion, or body, and always just with awareness. Oh, what am I doing there? Oh, look at that. Boy, my shoulders ache from being so tense today. How'd that happen? What's going on? And that's what seems to be the magical effect of awareness. But it takes time. It's not magical, as in the instant magical wand, nor have I ever found or actually met someone who got it and was done with this business of awakening. I know there are those that claim they have. I know there are many that claim they have. Yeah, listen to them, they've got it. They're enlightened, they're awake, they're saved. Personally, I just have never ever found that to be true or seen it to be true. If you do, cool, good for you, good for them. The point being, it really helps if you get rid of that expectation of waiting for a magic moment that's going to instantly transform everything and you're going to remain in bliss, happy as a puppy for the rest of your life, because that expectation now is another belief. And then it causes us pain because, damn it, now I don't feel that way. What am I doing wrong? You know? So, to forgive ourselves requires us to become willing to look. People with trauma have trouble even looking, and that's okay. This is not saying you should look at that. It's introducing a gentle pattern to provide a new alternative, a new way something can operate in our mind. And the self-forgiveness, we may end up at some point saying, oh yeah, I see that, I forgive myself. But it doesn't even always require those words. It's just a looking and a looking. And then one day I realized, yeah, I was a jerk back then. That's where I was then. I'm not so much like that anymore, thank you. Okay, now I just see it and kind of bless, like, okay, it's the way I was. That's forgiveness. I don't have to say, no, rationalize, it was okay, and I needed to do that because I was scared. You may see all those things, but in the end, it'll just be, that's where I was then. All right. And you'll feel a peace come. And it may take many iterations, you know. The peace may not obliterate it the first time or the 100th time, but it'll get better each time. Because when it comes up again, it's like, oh, there you are, friend. All right, we're going to play today, aren't we? Yeah. Let me look again. And it's that looking with awareness that's the activity of mindfulness. The mindfulness does the transformation itself if I am willing to just hang out in awareness and say, yeah, there it is. This applies very much to forgiving others also, but I'm not going to go far into that today. But we need to a little bit. Because if I see where I have done something ugly in the past, and I can forgive that. But now I take on something that makes me feel bad because of how I was indoctrinated, or because of experiences that happened to me. Maybe abuse. I mean, abuse isn't always intentional. Maybe a tree fell on me when I walked in the woods. Now I hate trees. I mean, something happened to me that caused me to build a program of feeling bad about myself. As I see that, sorry, that hurts. I hate it. It's ugly. Let me see it. I will realize at some point, oh, I accepted somebody's judgment. And that's why this is lodged in there. That's how it got here. And it's not a psychological examination. They just float up once we try this. Oh, they know not what they do. Even in this world, all the evil people, the narcissists, the abusers, are very unconscious souls. They literally don't know at the heart level what they're doing. I have to learn, teach myself with mindfulness, that's okay for now. They just don't know. They're not going to change tonight, tomorrow, maybe not in the next decade, maybe not in all my lifetime. But if I continue having a grievance about it, it's going to hurt me because they are like they are. And that's back to the Buddhist basic of accepting what is. It doesn't mean condoning it. It doesn't mean going along with it. But I see in my mind now, going back to this pain in me, I was hurt. They were jerks. They really were. But that's done now. I don't accept what they told me. There's not something wrong with me like they said. They're just jerks. I wish them well. Go be a jerk somewhere else. But that's the release point of forgiveness. See, the forgiveness is dropping my grievance. Because my grievance keeps me bound in the pain that was caused to me. Can you see that? Does that make any sense? So self-forgiveness requires that kind of forgiveness of others. Because if I want to release this hurt in me, I have to release my grievance from the past memory about it. It doesn't mean like forgiving them like in, oh, it's okay that you did that. It means I may not ever talk to them again. I may get much better at recognizing new people like that showing up and just saying, oh, it's you. Goodbye. You know, that's where clarity replaces boundaries, but that's a whole other time I'll talk to that. So I'm just offering, look at this idea of, one, learning what your awareness is. Two, how can I apply that to look at things in me? And then apply it with the intention of forgiving ourselves every time a feeling comes up that says there's something wrong with me. I did something wrong. I'm bad. And it'll keep you busy a little while. But it's a gentle way. I love mindfulness. It's so gentle. It's like, oh, that's there. Okay. What's going on there? Oh, I hate them. Okay. I hate them. I really hate them. Oh, okay. See? That's the way of mindfulness. So, any thoughts or questions?
I found this week observing myself that the temper is rising up again, and I'm trying to practice not reacting and just lovingly observing the situation for what it is. And I go back to the Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and saying that to the person that I feel resistance towards. And then I think to myself, okay, why am I feeling triggered right now? Why is this coming up right now? Why am I behaving like a child? Why am I responding like this? And I'm like asking them, like spiritually, energetically, I'm asking them, when have I behaved like you before? When have I behaved like this? And I could think of different ways in the past that I behaved like that, and it was like me judging myself in that moment. And I just breathe and lovingly say the Ho'oponopono mantra, and the resistance just fades, and I see them more with like a loving inner child. Still going through life.
That's a good practice. And as I often do, all I ever thought, because you brought up. That's where I pointed to the difference between clarity and boundaries. When anger comes up in us, it means I want something to be different. It's always the root of anger. If I can look at it with awareness and then immediately begin to do whatever I can see I can do, which may be to just say no to something instead of trying to be nice, or to just walk away, or whatever. But that anger, we don't want to let it take control of us, which Anna was explained nicely in practice for not letting it control us. But ask it, what do I want to be different? Because maybe there's something I can just say or do real easy that will affect how this situation is going. And then I'll see, oh no, you're not allowed to say, you're not allowed to just, you have to be nice, you have to be patient, you have to be tolerant. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Can I look? Again, it's always going to my awareness. Let me look. Anger. Okay, what do I want to be different? Anyway, thank you. Other side.
Right in line with what you're saying, it's I feel like I've identified in myself when there's a negative reaction, usually I feel like it's because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Again, I have to be nice, or I have to put up with it, or I have to resolve this somehow, even if I don't feel like I've done something outwardly. And in a lot of different situations at work, I would experience that a lot, and it's like, why am I so upset about this?
Yeah.
And it's like, I do have the choice to get up and walk away.
Yeah.
I do have the choice to not engage. I do have the choice also, because I think what happens, at least for myself, is because I've reacted, because I forgot I had a choice, I'll beat myself up about the reaction and then corroborate what I think that person is feeling about me. And it just becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So when I remember, you have that choice.
Yeah.
Again, you can walk away. You can decide whatever you're going to do, and whatever's going to make you feel better.
Yeah. So that's it. You're developing more awareness of that, and then you can sort back to the choice quicker. Yeah.
I was just going to add on to what Will was saying, and kind of what you were saying earlier about beliefs, and how Will has, as he just was saying, he believes that he has to be nice, has to make amends or make things better and things like that. And these are kind of the beliefs that I've corrected if I'm wrong, but we're bringing up earlier that, we can kind of know they're just there, but we're not aware enough that they are there. Maybe at a young age they were just put into us, and like you said earlier, you're just supposed to decide and think about those beliefs.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to think about those beliefs that we have.
Be aware of them.
Yeah.
As we begin to wake up with this, you see it's like this huge wad of just all these like Post-it notes, thousands of them, of do this, think that, be like, react like this. I mean, when you first begin to go into awareness, and I've had people in groups tell me, I can't go there. I'm just going to go back to being a wife and raising my kids. Because when it started to open up, they were overwhelmed with how much crazy programming is in us. So again, part of the surprise that comes along with this awakening, stay plugged in with other people following this in some way. It doesn't matter what they call it, but other people that are waking up, often called a spiritual path. It really helps to stay plugged in, We connect with each other. There's just certain days that things feel too swirly, and it's like, all right, go plug in. So that's always so helpful, even on a phone call or something. So it's an offering from here to you all to, you can always plug in here. So,
I know
Oh.
for me, the initial thing was like respond, not react. That
Yeah.
was the first thing that I really paused, for 5 seconds at a minimum.
mm-hmm,
Because the first reaction is the programming,
yes,
and it's usually wrong,
yeah,
But then I've come now to the point of within that pause, it's even longer because it's why is it bothering me?
mm-hmm,
Because it has nothing to do with the other person.
Right.
It's about you. And I found initially that it was always based upon how my expectations of how things should be,
yeah,
or disrespect, or, you're imposing on my happiness,
mm-hmm,
And once I could understand that I am responsible, regardless of what's going on externally, whoever I'm around, I'm responsible for my own peace and contentment, and have to take that accountability in all situations, and it took me a long time to get there.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, but that's really where I found that the ability for peace in a continuum type of perspective is when I realized I own it.
mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
So,
Thank you, that's very well summarized. And at some point, we realize we do own it. I like that phrase. We realize, no, there is a solid place of peace in me. And what happens after we get that, it's much sweeter. But then we begin to shift. And now my identity shifts from I'm this conglomeration of programs, reactions, and body urges to I am this thing of peace with this body to adventure in. Like the identity shifts more and more to I am peace. And look at this crazy adventure I'm having. Look at these crazy people I gotta deal. That's how that has developed for me. So,
yeah, that was most of the work, is in the why.
yeah.
And then if you could figure that out, then you recognize what's controlling you,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yeah.
in the way you think.
Yeah.
And then start changing that narrative, because a lot of, they classify it as false beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I believe that?
Yeah.
And is that true or false, and why do I think that? And then, yeah,
Is
so,
it useful to me?
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's always a great question. Is it true?
yeah.
And was it Byron Katie does this thing with 4 questions, and that's the first one. It's is it true?
Yeah.
It takes me back to the garden, actually, because when Adam and Eve, when God said, "Who told you you were naked?"
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always say, "Who told me
Yeah. There we
about
go.
my false belief?"
That's good.
And then I can get to that conversation or that event and
Yep.
look at it and try and reframe it, and
Good one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take us offline now. So if anybody wants to share more stuff,